what's kind of weird? Um, as I was setting up my stream this morning, I had this thing about Hunter Biden. I was trying to be creative, and so the title Hunter or Hunted. And for some reason, the song Hungry Like the Wolf popped into my head. I have no idea why. Hungry Like the Wolf. Why? Why? What does that have to do with Joe Biden? What does that have to do with anything? As I'm hungry like the wolf. I don't know why. I don't know why. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night. Alrighty then, stop the music. Good morning, people. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, me, Marty, aka P. Dog Night. Got the reparations coffee in hand, and it is delicious. That is so good. And I am happy you're here. It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. And I missed something the other day, and I'm just realizing it. Hunter Biden did an interview on ABC News, on Good Morning America. They played it on Good Morning America. And, it was a fascinating interview, at least the part that they showed. And I guess there's a second part that I haven't watched yet. But I did watch the part one of this interview. And so I thought maybe, now I could get in trouble for this, but this, you know what? It is fair use. We're going to watch the video and I'm going to comment on it. So it is commentary. I just don't want to get in trouble. We'll see if this works. I may or may not have this video taken down when it's over, but right now we're going to watch it anyway. And if I get in trouble, I get in trouble, and we'll fight that out with ABC. It's clearly going to be a fair use issue. Just getting ahead of myself here, getting ahead of things though. Anyway, let's say good morning to who's here first. Richo is first. Richo gets the bell for being first on the stream this morning in the chat. And good morning, Shiagraph, Tyler F., Jaeger Pony, Reason Vision, Maddie, and well, that's everyone in the chat. There's a few more people out there hanging out. And also, thank you, Maddie, for retweeting my tweet announcing the stream. If any of you would be so kind to also do that, you can either do it using the share button down here, or if you're on a phone, it's up here, but that little arrow to hit share. Or I could just do this. I could put it in the chat, which I'm about to do right now. If you're a Twitter person, please retweet this bad boy right here. That one right there. I appreciate it for those of you who helped me out with that. Also, just a reminder, I just hit my 400 subscribers. 400. So thanks for all of you who have been helping me, promote the channel and things like that. I'm hoping that I hope it continues to grow because hello, see, Thomas, you weren't in the chat yet. I'm looking at the chat now. Oh no, I'm down to $3.99. Someone unsubscribed already. Okay, well that happens. No, it doesn't work on mobile. You know what? I think on mobile you have to. What do you do? I've done it on my phone before. I think you have to turn it sideways. You can't do it you're up vertical and do it down below. You can't. I don't think you can just touch the share up on the screen up here. I don't know how it works. I've used it. I can't remember why. But now I'm down to $3.99. So I'm a little bit premature on that. Oh, unless you're connected to Twitter. Okay, well, I'm not sure. Anyway, Slay Thomas, hello you too. Also functional. I see you're here also. So welcome to the show. So again, back to Hunter Biden though. So remember when this whole Ukraine thing blew up and there's this whistleblower, and they decided that Donald Trump was. They were claiming that Donald Trump was doing a quid pro quo with the Ukrainian president. I can't think. I'll remember his name in a minute. But saying that he was pressuring them to do this investigation on Joe Biden. Now, we've looked at the transcript. The president and the White House, they put out this, it's a pseudo transcript. It's a memo of the people who are listening to the call who transcribed what they think they heard. And so we kind of know there's not necessarily a quid pro quo, although the partisans in the media saying it is, some are saying it isn't, whatever. But I said at the time that, this is probably going to be something. Sure, and there's a whole impeachment inquiry because of this. But I said at the time, this is probably going to blow back on Joe Biden more than he thinks. And it kind of has, because now a lot of people are talking about Hunter Biden and his cushy, board of directors job with a Ukrainian energy company where he had no experience. And so it's kind of, and Joe gets very testy on the campaign trail, and even in the debate last night, gets very testy when people talk to him about it, because he makes some claims that Joe Biden's son Hunter also makes in this interview that I just want to bring up, because this interview is how whenever there's an interview, okay, most of you will understand what I'm saying. When there's interviews with Democrats, most of the media is very, what's the word? I'm going to use the word kid gloves, because they tend to try to bolster what the person said. They try to, make excuses for them. But then when it's if it's an interview with someone they don't like, Republicans, it's always hostile. There's hostile, and the questions are very biting, and they're very forward, and they interrupt, and they do this and do that. Well, this is one of those tongue bath interviews. My favorite. It's called the Democrat tongue bath interview. Very kid gloves and very, now one thing the interviewer does, she does ask some good questions. But she kind of, I don't know. Let's just go through it. We're going to stop this quite often, because I'm going to make several points during this interview. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. Okay, let's see. Now let's put this on the screen. Here we go. All right. So here is the Good Morning America clip. We're going to start going through it. I'm just jumping into it today. And, oh, by the way, wait, hold on. Let me shill right away, because this is going to take a while. So if perchance you have something that you put in the chat that you absolutely need me to read, or absolutely make sure I want to make that point and get this point across, you can do that via Super Chats. Not YouTube Super Chats. I don't have enough subscribers. Someday I will. But down in this description down below, there is a link to Streamlabs, where you can click on that link and send a Super Chat. And that's also a donation to the show. And not required, but I certainly will pay attention to it more if I hear that little bell go off. Just a hit. And also, that's where you do donations to the channel, because this channel has some expenses. So, I appreciate all of those you who do help me out with expenses through donations and Super Chats. All right, let's get into the interview. Let's go back to, let's see, right here, YouTube. There we go. All right. So let's watch this interview. Like I said, I'm going to be stopping it fairly frequently, because for two reasons. One, there has to be commentary for this to be fair use, and because there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that I just go, really? So here we go. We're hang on, I gotta get the audio here. No boomer moments today. But I do need a sip of coffee. Here we go. Excuse me. That is so tasty. All right, here we go.
With Hunter Biden, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden, who has become a key figure, in the House impeachment inquiry against President Trump. At the center of that.
Now, of course, they're going to mention a key figure in the House impeachment inquiry of President Trump. Okay.
At President Trump asking the Ukrainian president to investigate Hunter Biden and his father. Amy is here with all of us. Good morning.
Now, there's another. Now, that seems to be a constant too. they say the call was for the president to ask the Ukrainian president Zelensky to investigate Joe and Hunter Biden. Now that's not what the call was for, but if you didn't notice, now granted, this is related to what this interview is about, but whenever they talk about this, they always talk about that part, but they always leave out the big middle part where he was actually saying, would you do me a favor, about investigating the 2016 election. Wanting to know, hey, what happened here? Where are all these pieces? There's these pieces that seem to have originated in Ukraine, and I know that the Attorney General is going to be contacting you, and we just want to make sure that these kinds of terrible things never happen again, okay? They always leave out that part because they don't want to focus on that part. They want to use the line. The line is they're asking a foreign country to interfere in the U.S. elections. Remember the Russia thing? That was about the Russians interfering in the U.S. elections. Speaking of Russia, I'm going to go on a little side here. So I was thinking about this morning as I was at work, and I was just, you know what I do? I just, whatever I do there. And I was thinking about that, the whole Russian thing. And this is really an aside. So you notice that there is this narrative still that the Russians interfered in the 2016 election because that's what the Mueller report said, correct? But I have to, and a lot of it has to do with supposedly they indicted these 6 Russian generals, which they knew they were never going to get them. Those guys are never going to go to trial. But anyway, they indicted these 6 Russian generals because of the fact that the computers at the DNC, Democratic National Committee, were supposedly hacked, right? But there's never going to be a trial of that, right? There's never going to be a trial because that you just know there's never going to be a trial. So there are never ever. Are they ever going to have to prove that the Russians hacked the DNC? Not really, right? Now think about that. So we have the former director of the FBI, who was the special counsel in this case, Robert Mueller. Okay? Robert Mueller tells us, as he's testifying before the joint committees in Congress, that the Russians were involved in hacking the DNC, right? Do y'all remember the last time? Well, not the last time, but a time prior when Robert Mueller was testifying before Congress, when he said something happened. Y'all remember that? When Robert Mueller insisted that Iraq had WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. Remember that? And I was thinking the parallel here. Wow, we went to war because of Robert Mueller's testimony that for sure his people who gathered intelligence that they know that Saddam Hussein had WMDs. And now, roughly 3 years later, or not 23, 20, 18, 19, whatever, however many years it's been, 18, 19 years later, Robert Mueller was testifying before Congress that they surely have evidence that the Russians hacked the DNC. Now, there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. Why did I go on this side? This is a big side note, isn't it? I'm waiting for them to to disprove that, because remember, the FBI never looked at the DNC servers. I know it sounds like I'm not going conspiracy theory on you. Just there's plenty of analysts out there have written extensively about why that isn't the case. So so the point before I went on a big digression there, was the biggest part of that phone call that President Trump made, other than congratulating President Zelensky for his victory in Parliament, was the fact that he wanted to find out more about the 2016 election. Not so much about the Bidens. The Bidens were an afterthought, but now that they are making a big deal about Biden, you must ask the question, how did Hunter Biden get his cushy board of directors job at a Ukrainian energy company, a type of business he has no experience with, and a country that he has no experience with? Let's go to the interview now. Oh, I'm sorry, super chat first. C. Thomas with the $2 super chat. Thank you, sir, for being one of my top super chatters. Anyone else notice that when Democrats do all the shit Trump gets accused of, it's perfectly normal and nothing of interest, but if Trump is accused of doing just that, it's criminal behavior, unseemly and evil. As they go, it's okay when we do it, Goyams. You love... Thank you, C. Thomas, with his colorful commentary and very poignant points. Yeah, if they accuse the president of it, we got to go full bore. Oh, wait, what? Oh, we did something. Well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about President Trump and all the criminal things that he's doing. Yeah, very good point, C. Thomas. Thank you again, sir, for the $2 Streamlabs. Should I call him something else besides Super Chat? I'll just call it the Streamlabs Super Chat for $2. I appreciate you. All right, let's get into the interview. Watch Kraut's video on Russia. Okay, reason I will do that. I haven't seen many Kraut and T videos in a while, but I will check that out. Thank you for letting me know. All right, let's watch this interview.
Yeah, good morning, Rob. And it is safe to say Hunter Biden never expected to be in this position.
No, he
focal
didn't.
Point of an impeachment inquiry as his father makes a run for the White House. When I sat down with him at his home in Los Angeles, no questions were off limits, including ones about his foreign business dealings that have been the target of attacks by President Trump.
Well done.
By the way, whatever happened to Hunter? Where the hell is he?
Hunter Biden, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden, has found himself at the center of a political firestorm.
Okay, so yeah, this is from the Minneapolis rally. I got to talk about that rally sometime, but I'll get back to it. The actual rally, some of the things that Trump said. A couple things bother me in that rally that he just said, but we'll do that another time because we're talking about Hunter Biden today.
Hunter!
Where is Hunter?
Where is Hunter?
He's right here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Now, look how friendly she is. And also, I want to notice the setting. This is fascinating. Someone else pointed this out. I saw someone else talking about this. Wait, well, we'll show you in a second.
Hunter!
Where is Hunter?
Where is Hunter?
He's right here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm working and I'm living my life.
President Trump says you're in hiding.
Hiding in plain sight, I guess.
Well, yeah, I haven't been on the campaign trail much, at least that I've seen. But you know what? I don't really pay attention to the campaign trail. And also, what's funny is that they don't really cover the Democrats on the campaign trail that much. Yes, they show an event here or there, but it seems like they like to focus on Trump. Oh, yeah, that's right. Watch the Project Veritas videos and see how the employees of CNN describe why they don't cover the Democrats on the trail, but they'd rather just cover Trump. They're Trump 24/7. He takes all the air in the room. Good morning, Lindsay. All right.
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all.
Biden and his son are stone cold crooked.
The president has been on the rampage, accusing 49-year-old Biden of improperly profiting on business interests in Ukraine while his father was vice president and the point person on Ukraine.
Okay, now listen to what she does here, because it's fascinating. Well, here, you'll hear it. Let's see if you notice what she does here.
Taking a seat on the board at $50,000 a month with a gas company called Burisma, which had been accused of corruption, leading to that now infamous phone call in July.
It's a very honorable call. It's a nice call.
When President Trump asked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate the Bidens.
Again, now I grant that this is the subject they are talking about here. And that's the talking point, and that's the reason they have the impeachment inquiry. But that was not the purpose of it. It was an afterthought. It was part of it, yes. And, you know, I wish they had a recording of the call just so you could hear the inflection, whatever. Because, Adam Schiff made up this whole scenario that he was acting like a mob boss and all that shit. But whatever.
No evidence of illegal.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I cut off the part that I wanted you to hear. So listen to this.
Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate the Bidens. No evidence of illegal wrongdoing has been found against either one.
All right. Now, that line pisses me off. Where she says no evidence of illegal something has been found. Well, there is a pretty good reason for that. Because none of it has been investigated, right? So during that time when this was actually occurring, I don't think anyone in the Obama administration was going to investigate this, right? Why would Obama... The Obama administration was busy investigating Hillary Clinton and giving her a pass on the classified information that was on her thing. Nobody was investigating this. Nobody was talking. Now, there were news media people talking about this, but there was never an investigation. So, of course, no evidence of illegal, activities have been found because it's never been investigated. That's the point. That is the point. Of course it hasn't been investigated. Nothing's been found because it's never been investigated. Are we going to investigate it now? That'll be interesting.
I want to get to the heart of it. Did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine?
No.
Now, right off the bat, did you or your father ever discuss Ukraine? His answer is no. Now, he's already had one interview where he said the answer is yes. Now, it may have been briefly, but whatever.
As I said, the only time was after a news account. It wasn't a discussion in any way. There's no but to this. No, we never did.
Your dad said, I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I do.
And I said, I do. And that,
Well, if that's the case, okay, so he said no, but then Dad, you know what you're doing. And he said yes, and if that's the case, blah blah blah. Well, that's discussing Ukraine. Now that's briefly, but of course you did. I'm doubting it. While I'm paused here, good morning, Grilling Pirate Pete, Cynical Lindsay, MC. Hammer time, and we'll keep going.
that was literally the end of our discussion.
Why?
Because my dad was vice president of the United States. There's literally nothing as a young man or as a full-grown adult that my father in some way hasn't had influence over, as it does not.
Okay, here's the problem though. Okay. Now, your father is the vice president of the United States. Why wouldn't you discuss this with your father? And why wouldn't your father, who was charged within the Obama administration to have contact with Ukraine, wouldn't you go, well, let's see. Maybe we should just discuss to make sure, discuss with my son who's suddenly been given this job as a board of directors of a big energy company in Ukraine, wouldn't you at least have the discussion and say, hey, now we just want to make sure that there's no conflicts of interest, and you would discuss something about it. You wouldn't just be like, oh, well, I got to do some work over there. My son happens to be on the board of directors of a company over there, but we better not discuss it because, maybe sometime down the road, several years later, someone in an interview with ABC News might ask me that question, and I need to be able to say no. That didn't even make sense at all. Whatever. Moving on.
Serve either one of us.
When he said, I hope you know what you're doing, what did he think you were doing?
Well, he read the press reports that I joined the board of Burisma, which was a Ukrainian.
Oh, he found out through the press reports? Really? Wow. Whenever I've ever gotten a new job, and I happen to be talking to my mother on the phone, I go, hey, you know what? I got a new job. Oh, really? Yeah, what are you doing? Well, I got a new job here. But apparently they don't do that in the Biden family. They don't even talk. You find out about new jobs through press reports, right? If I got a new job where I'm going to be paid $50,000 a month, I'm calling my mom and saying, hey, Mom, guess what? I got a great new job. I'm going to be making $50,000 a month. And these dummies don't even know. I don't even know what I'm doing there. What a bunch of crap. Oh, my gosh. And you know what? Here's the funny thing about this. You think that it's just people like me who, I'm on the conservative side of the aisle and, those of us who think this way. But it's not. There's a lot of people on the left going, Hunter Biden, get the fuck out of here. You got to be kidding me. You think we're all stupid. Anyway.
Natural gas company. And there's been a lot of misinformation about me, not about my dad.
A lot of misinformation. Huh. Well, hang on. Let's just let them go. Let me talk here.
Nobody buys that. But it buys this idea that I was unqualified to be on the board.
What were your qualifications to be on the board of Burisma?
Well, I was vice chairman of the board of Amtrak for 5 years.
Oh, we'll get into that. So the chairman of the board of Amtrak, which is an American company in the United States, in an industry you didn't really know much about there either, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But versus a country, a corporation in a country that you probably don't even know the language, in an industry that you don't know anything about. Granted, there's a lot of people who end up on board of directors of companies, whatever, just because of their name, but this is silly.
I was the chairman of the board of the UN World Food Program.
The UN World Food Program, too. See? That's very similar to a Ukrainian energy company.
Lawyer for Boyd Schiller Flexner, one of the most prestigious law firms in the world.
And a lawyer for Boyd, whatever he said, Lexner there. That company. Of course, law firms. I think law firms also like to tend to hire people with big names and reputations. And so, yeah, we hired this huge law firm hired the son of the vice president of the United States. That gives you a little prestige in some circles, doesn't it? Oops, what'd I do there?
Trump at the center
in this position. Trump.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Where is Hunter?
Son.
And the point person on Ukraine, 49-year-old Biden.
Not at all.
Biden and his son.
Okay, hang on.
His father was vice
My
president.
apologies.
It's a very honorable.
Vladimir Zelensky to invest on.
There's no but to this. No. And that was as a young man or
Why?
because
Okay.
my dad was vice president of the United States. There's literally nothing as a young man or
You know,
news account. It wasn't a discussion in any way.
Okay.
There's no but to this. No, we never.
All right, I'm sorry. I had to go
hope you know
backward.
what you're doing.
I hope you
and
know what you're
said,
doing.
I do.
And I said, I do. And that was literally the end of our discussion.
Why?
Because my dad was vice president of the United States. There's literally nothing as a young man or as a full-grown adult that my father, in some way, hasn't had influence over. As it does not serve either one of us.
When he said, "I hope you know what you're doing,"
I know we're
what
reading
did he
hearing
think
this
you were
again, but
doing?
Well, he read the press reports that I joined the board. A lot of misinformation about me, not about my dad. Nobody buys that. But it buys this idea that I was unqualified to be on the board.
What were your qualifications?
wait, nobody buys the idea that you were unqualified? That's all I've heard. That's all I've heard from other outlets that talk about this. You got to be kidding me.
To be on the board of Burisma.
Well, I was vice chairman of the board of Amtrak for 5 years. I was the chairman of the board of the UN World Food Program. I was a lawyer for Boies Schiller.
Oh, I was a lawyer.
Most prestigious.
You know who else is a lawyer? What's the dude's name that does that runs TMZ? I can't think of his name, but he's a lawyer too.
Law firms in the world.
You didn't have any extensive knowledge about natural gas or Ukraine itself, though.
No, but I think that I had as much knowledge as anybody else that was on the board.
I think I had as much knowledge as anybody else on the board. Oh my gosh. Is that company still in business? Did he really just say that? Oh, I think I had as much experience as anyone else on the board. Wow. Maybe, well, of course, granted, he's on the board of directors. They're not doing day-to-day operations. Generally, the board of directors are concerned with profits and loss and, whatever, shareholder and whatnot. And then the day-to-day operations ones who actually have to know about natural gas. But you would think you'd have to know something about natural gas markets. And I don't know, you'd have to know something if the board's going to make decisions, it's not like the board only makes decisions about the next company party, but if he knew as much as anybody else and had no experience in the natural gas industry and didn't know anything about Ukraine, I'd be concerned. But whatever.
If not more.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list.
Wait a minute. In the list you gave me, so he gave you a list? Did they prepare for this interview? They must have. This is a well thought out interview, I think, because she just admitted he gave her a list of what? Let me go back here.
If not more.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son.
So he gave her a list in advance of why he was on the board. Remember I said this is a tongue bath interview where, it's one of those where you can, this is a PR interview. And he gave her a list of things to talk about.
Of the vice president.
Yeah. No.
What role do you think that played?
I think
Sorry.
For the son of the vice. You gave me of the reasons why you're on that board. You did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah. No.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
You were paid $50,000 a month for your position?
Look, I'm a private citizen. One thing that I don't have to do is sit here and open my kimono as it relates to how much money I make or did or didn't.
Did you hear what he just said? I don't think I have to open my kimono. Why, that's cultural appropriation. You culturally appropriated something there to make a point. I don't have to open my kimono? Really? Really? Come on, man. Yeah, it's the figures that I've heard anywhere between 50,000 and 168,000 per month. Now, granted, it may be that if it were that higher number, some of that was going to his law firm or something like that. I don't know how the deal works, but the lowest amount I've heard is 50,000 a month.
It's all been reported.
It's all been reported. Sure, it has. It has all been reported. Let's see here. I'm going to go back 5
As
seconds.
it relates to how much money I make or did or didn't.
And it's not really anybody's business how much money he makes, but it certainly begs the question how he happens to be on this board. But it's because he's vice president of the United States. Might get some good deals because whatever.
all been reported.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
Hell to the Dizzo!
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. You know damn well you wouldn't be on that board. They wouldn't give two shits about you.
I don't know. Probably not. I don't
Oh, at least, he was honest. He was honest. Probably not.
think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
Why did you leave the board in April?
It's a 5-year term.
And you chose not to
I chose
continue.
not to. Yeah.
Why?
I think it's pretty obvious why.
Wait, in April? No, it's not obvious why, because this wasn't brought up in April. This wasn't brought up in April. Someone tried to get ahead of this and said, you know what, don't renew this because we're going to get in trouble. Interesting. He didn't renew on the board.
This is your opportunity to say why.
Well, because this is what becomes a distraction, because I have to sit here and answer these questions. And so that's why I've committed that I won't serve on any boards or I won't work directly for any foreign entities when my dad becomes president.
You might as well just sign up again now, because I don't know if that's going to happen. This is... I do give them credit, though, for them realizing that, maybe if my father's running for president, maybe I shouldn't renew. I should probably get off these boards, or at least vow to do that, because the problem is they didn't think of this earlier.
Do you think that should be a rule across the board for any administration?
No, look, that's the rule that I'm going to adhere to.
Do you agree?
Well, you didn't adhere to it before. What are you talking about? You didn't adhere to it before. Well, that's the rule I'm going to adhere to. Okay, whatever. A little late now.
Regret being on the board to begin with?
No, I don't regret being on the board. What I regret is not taking into account that there would be a Rudy Giuliani and a president of the United States that would be listening to this ridiculous conspiracy idea, which has...
every time someone questions I suppose a Democrat is the word. It's not a friendly, because it's not always a Democrat, but anytime the media questions a friendly, it's a conspiracy theory. If they question the not friendly Republican or someone on the right, then it's hard-hitting, truth-telling evidence and facts. We're trying to dig into corruption. But here, nope, this is a conspiracy. Let's see. Oh, thank you, C. Thomas. Another $2 super chat through the Streamlabs link down below if you'd like to participate. Hunter says, I have plenty of job experience and I am an open book. Also, Hunter, okay, I may have to rely on Daddy's name for my jobs, and I ain't gonna tell you shit. Nepotism is of the most corrupt order. That's bellworthy. Thank you, C. Thomas, for the $2 super chat. Link in the description down below. Yeah, it's a conspiracy now. The problem with that, though, is... this isn't the first time this has been brought up. It was brought up, we even read an article the other day from, I think, 3 years ago that this was brought up. This is not new. It's just that it's been thrust into the spotlight because of this Ukraine scandal, so to speak.
Has, again, been completely debunked by everyone.
Oh! This is the other one they love to do. And I've heard Joe Biden say this over and over. Oh, this has completely been debunked. My question, her follow-up question should be here right now. The first thing out of her mouth, when he said, this has been debunked, the first question, she doesn't ask very good follow-up questions. The first question I would ask him, by who? Who debunked this? What exactly do you think that they have debunked? Because this in general, what's been debunked? It hasn't been debunked by an investigation. It hasn't been debunked by any of the news organizations that have covered it. They've asked the question. They haven't really come up with any answers because they didn't really necessarily interview either of the Bidens about this. And so now it's becoming an issue because Joe Biden, the gaffe master general, bragged about withholding funds from Ukraine unless they fired the investigator that was investigating the company that Hunter Biden worked for. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he did it because of that company, but that's never been investigated. So him saying this has already been debunked, well, what part of it has been debunked? And it's specifically by who, so we can go, hey, let's go look this up because he says it's been debunked. Let's go find the place where this has been debunked. Welcome, Midnight in Exile and Straight Sith Mail, to the show. I see you here. Who's debunked? Debunked by who?
And, you know,
I think people at home are thinking, how could that not have crossed your mind? Or you wouldn't have felt just a little bit in your gut like...
See, that she doesn't ask that question. The first thing out of her mouth should have been, you say it's been debunked. Who? It's been debunked by who? Because this is the first time this is the first time ABC has interviewed you about this, and ABC hasn't sent any investigative reporters to Ukraine and to interview you and your dad. Who has it been debunked by? And the fact that her asking about, well, why didn't this cross your mind? Yada, yada, yada. Because I was getting paid $50,000 a month and I didn't give a damn. That's why it didn't cross my mind. I'm about to make 50 G's, 50 large every month. That's why it didn't cross my mind. And I'm used to banking on my name. That's how I got the job with Amtrak. The board of directors of Amtrak. Your only experience at Amtrak is that you've ridden trains before. You don't know anything about any expertise in transportation. Now you've been on the Amtrak board for a while. You probably do now, but you certainly didn't when you got that job. Oh, your name's Biden? Is your like Vice President Joe Biden? Yes. Oh. Cool. Come join our board.
Maybe this isn't a good idea to go and sit on the board of this Ukrainian company.
I said to you, in retrospect, I wish
Right,
that
but
my
at the
judgment.
time, you never thought this might not look right.
You know what?
And not only did he not say this might not look right, but apparently he and his father never talked about it. Never said, hey, I got a question because I have an opportunity to go be on the board of this energy company in Ukraine. And I know that, you're the vice president and you deal with foreign nations. Is this going to be a problem? You guys never had that conversation. Nobody in the State Department said, you know what? We probably should approve this because there's a possible look of impropriety. You never had that conversation once. It never crossed your mind. Is this when you were in your cocaine-addled days or something? Because it never crossed your mind. I'm gonna go. No one. No. Somebody had to have some sort of approval of this to avoid a conflict of interest in the executive branch of the United States. You never thought of that? Nobody talked to you? You got to be kidding me.
What? I'm a human. And you know what? Did I make a mistake? Well, maybe in the grand scheme of things, yeah. But did I make a mistake?
Let me make another quick point here. This is a fascinating place to have an interview like this. So they got an angle here. You're looking in the background, kind of in a kitchen, kind of very plainish place. This may or may not be his house. And he's got his glass of water there, and they set up the interview. It's almost like they want to make sure that it doesn't look too opulent. It looks like kind of Joe, he's not in a tie, he's not in a suit, but he's, in a casual shirt. Try to make him look like Joe Bag of Donuts. I've just found that fascinating too, that this is the setting they use for this interview. Oh, we're just going to set up in your kitchen. And I still laugh too, because I didn't catch this the first time I watched this. But when she said, when you gave me a list of reasons why you're on that board, your father being vice president wasn't one of them. Okay, so I want to see that list. Notice they mentioned that list. So obviously they prepared well in advance, and they prepared what the questions are going to be, and they're giving him an out here. But I want to see the list that he gave her. Now, they don't mention it at all after this. At least I don't remember it. Again, this is the first time I paid attention to hearing that, or I noticed that, because I see something new every time I see something. I want to see that list. It's amazing.
Upon some unethical lapse? Absolutely not.
China should start an investigation into the Bidens.
Also on Trump's list of
and again, this thing with China too. Oh, this will be. Oh, well, I'll wait till we get to the question she asks, because it's a stupid question actually. But actually, it's a way. She does a question here where she kind of twists the actual situation, and it makes it easy for him to give an answer that gives again, this whole interview is about giving him an out, giving him a tongue bath interview, letting it be full of softball questions that he can knock out of the park, and in theory make this go away. Doesn't really do it for me. Sorry.
accusations against Hunter Biden that Hunter flew on Air Force Two with his father during an official government trip to China in 2013, leveraging that connection for financial gain in an investment deal with Chinese businessman Jonathan Lee.
The president has repeatedly said that you received $1.5 billion from China despite no experience and for no apparent reason. Obviously, fact checkers have said that that is not true.
Look,
now, what fact checkers? Okay, here's the problem with this question before he even answers it. Here's the problem with the question. First of all, the allegation wasn't about him going on Air Force Two. He did go with he and his daughter. He's going to talk about that. He and his daughter went to China, and then they met with this John Lee, and almost immediately when he comes back. Okay, remember he started this. Well, let me give you some background. He and John Kerry married what's her name, Hines, and her son, John Kerry's stepson, and Hunter Biden started an investment firm. Okay, and somehow, miraculously, this little investment firm, little boutique investment firm, suddenly, somehow gets these huge investment deals and these huge contacts in China. With the Bank of China, which is actually kind of run by the Chinese government. But get these huge investment deals in China. This brand new firm, out of the blue, just happens to be run by the son of the Vice President of the United States and the stepson of the Secretary of State of the United States. Now, and then she says, her line here is, well, that they gave him $1.5 billion. No. And that's what the fact checkers are saying. Well, they didn't give Hunter Biden $1.5 billion. You morons. That's not the point. They invested in this equity fund run by Hunter Biden and whatever Hines' first name is. They didn't put $1.5 billion in Hunter Biden's bank account. They invested in their fund, which was going to go out and invest in other businesses, which would make money. to say that the fact checkers saying, oh, well, they didn't put $1.5 billion in Hunter Biden's account. Duh! That's not what the problem is. The fact that a Chinese bank run by the Chinese government invested with this equity firm that Hunter Biden and whatever his name, Heinz, invested. And even Heinz thought this was shady. They banked on the name Biden and Heinz. Gary. Let's go back to this question again.
And obviously, $1 billion from China, despite repeatedly.
An investment deal with Chinese businessman.
See, an investment deal, not giving him the money anyway.
The president has repeatedly said that you received $1.5 billion.
His company did.
No experience and for no apparent reason. Obviously, fact checkers have said that that is not true.
Look, this is
The fact checker said that's not true. It's 100% true. His firm did receive that much in investments from the Bank of China, whatever, who else? Suddenly this brand new, not Goldman Sachs, not Morgan Stanley, not, any of the big top investment firms in the United States get this deal, but this brand new boutique investment firm head by these two guys? Give me a break.
This literally has no basis in fact in any way.
No
Have
basis
you
in fact.
received any
Oh.
money from
No.
that business dealing?
No.
Oh, no, really? So you haven't received any money from that business dealing? So are you saying they invested with your firm and you didn't get paid? You just did it for free? They didn't pay you? No, you didn't pay yourself off whatever profits you made on this investment deal? You didn't make a dime from this? What's the point? Isn't that what you're... why would you even bother having them invest with you if you didn't make a dime off of this? Listen to this question again.
Fact checkers have said that that is not true.
Look, this is literally has no basis in fact in any way.
Have you received any money from
No.
that business dealing?
No.
At all? Not
No,
1 cent?
Not 1 cent.
Oh, not 1 cent. Well, what's the point of doing business over there then? You made something off. You mean they invest $1.5 billion in the firm that you and your Heinz, whatever his name is, ran, and not one dime? Not one dime? That's Midnight in Exile. I'm reading what you say. He didn't. His firm did. His firm then paid him. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Lying by technicality. Well, yeah, bullshit by technicality.
Definitely not 1.5 billion.
It's crazy. They feel like they have the license to go out and say whatever they want. It feels to me like living in some kind of Alice in Wonderland, where.
It's funny because he's talking about how words are twisted and whatnot, but the idea that he didn't make any money off the Chinese bank investing through his company, not one dime, not one penny, he said. Yes, it's like Midnight in Exile says, lying by technicality.
You're up on the real world, and then you fall down the rabbit hole, and the president's a Cheshire cat asking you questions about crazy things that don't.
Oh, it's just
bear any
insane.
resemblance to the reality of anything that has to do with me.
Oh no, I know Teresa. Oh, Teresa Heinz Carey. I'm thinking the son. I think the husband was John Heinz. I don't know. Can't remember the son's name though. Thank you for Teresa Heinz Carey. It's her son that had this investment firm with Biden's son here.
And so, here's the answer. No one ever paid me $1.5 billion.
Oh yeah, that's technically true. That wasn't her question though. Her question was, you didn't make any money from this investment firm or whatever. Again, what's the point of doing business if you're not doing it for charity, did you just do it because out of the goodness of your heart and you thought, I am the vice president of the United States Sun and I should be doing charitable work. So I'm going to go over to China and we're going to help them invest some money, and I'm not going to take any pay from this particular set of investments. None. Because you know what? I have a good heart.
And if they had, I would not be doing this interview right now.
We saw you
Yep.
in those photos getting off of Air Force Two with your daughter, with your father.
I
You
have
were
traveled
there.
everywhere with my dad. And I went there because...
I have no problem with traveling on Air Force Two, but to tell me that the fact that you got the deal immediately when you got back, And again, I'm not even saying that this is necessarily improprieties, although it sure smells bad. But by the way, hi Gilded Liberty. I'm not even saying that there's improprieties necessarily, but the idea that there's no conflict of interest here, the idea that you didn't talk to your father about this, the idea that your father didn't know you were part of these companies, the idea that you didn't bank on your father's names and make huge profits, somehow, $50,000 a month with the one company. Okay, remember Joe Biden's supposed to be this lunch pail Joe, because he's just been a warrior for the people in Congress and the Senate all these years, and as vice president, he's running for president now, and hadn't made a whole lot of money out of it, but you sure banked on that name pretty good, Hunter. And I'm not even saying, is it wrong? I don't know. I can't decide if it's wrong. Unless there's a hint of corruption there. And that hint of corruption, just even the hint of corruption that Joe Biden bragged about, threatening $1 billion in loan guarantees to Ukraine unless they fired the prosecutor that was investigating the company that you happen to be on the board of directors of, making $50,000 a month. It's not just the right who's questioning that. There are Democrats going, oh yeah, that looks pretty shitty, doesn't it? There's people the progressive left, the progressive left, that are going, yeah, right. It's not just the people on the right who are saying this.
Daughter was on the trip too.
Wait, did you talk about China or your deal with China?
No.
A 12-hour flight over.
12-hour flight. 12-hour flight. Not a word. Oh, you know what? We're just going on this trip, and I might be doing some business. Hey, Dad, I might be getting a business deal while I'm over here. Oh, that's great, son. Good luck. Not even that. Didn't mention it. Never came up. We're on a 12-hour flight to China, where my investment firm that me and my friend Heinz, what's his name, suddenly have some major contacts with. Now, maybe, and granted, I think he had some relationship with this John Lee before too. So it's not like John Lee out of the blue, called him up. But somehow his dealings in China and John Lee, who they meet with, I'll talk about this in a second, just happened to get him a huge deal almost immediately after he came back from this trip.
That never came up.
No.
Your
Never
father
came
did
up.
shake hands with Mr. Lee, though, correct, in the lobby of that hotel?
I don't remember, but probably. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he did. He was my friend.
Jonathan Lee.
Yeah, for almost 13 years.
He was your
my
friend and your
partner.
business
Yeah,
partner.
but I understand. So really, Amy, whether I'm in New York or whether I'm in Washington, D.C.
I don't care if they
a
shook
friend and
hands.
A business associate is in the hotel, and my dad's sitting there. Is it inappropriate for me to have coffee with them?
Oh, wait, whoa. What did he just say? I just happened to be, he just happened to be in the hotel? He just happened to be in China? It's just a coincidence? Is it the only hotel in China? And John Lee just happens to be there. Hello, Wiki snippet. Wikipedia snippet. That's an original name, kind of like Lemony Snicket. Or what is it? Okay, anyway. Hi there. Welcome to the show. I've never seen your name out here before. I hope you enjoy what we're doing here. Oh boy. Yeah.
in New York or whether I'm my friend.
Jonathan,
Wait,
in the
now
lobby
let's
of
let's
that
let's
hotel.
listen to this
remember, but
again.
Came up.
No,
Your father did shake hands with Mr. Lee, though, correct, in the lobby of that hotel?
I don't remember, but probably. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he did. He was my friend.
Jonathan Lee.
Yeah, for almost 13 years.
He was your
my
friend and your
partner.
business
Yeah,
partner.
but I understand. So really, Amy, whether I'm in New York or whether I'm in Washington, D.C., a friend and a business associate is in the hotel, and my dad's staying there. Is it inappropriate for me to have coffee with them?
So that meeting,
So I'm in a hotel, and my friend and business associate just happens to be in that same hotel, and I have my father shake hands with him. Well, first of all, don't you? It almost seemed like your father. Why was he in the hotel? Is this really a coincidence? How many people are there in China? 1 billion people, and you just happen to run into your. Well, I suppose if he's over there for business too, but. Oh, just a chance meeting. Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Just a chance meeting.
Anything
was
wrong.
not a mistake. It was not unethical.
100% not. No.
What do you say to people who believe this is exactly why people hate Washington? A vice president's son can make money in countries
says
where
this?
your father is
Who says it? Oh, my. Wait a minute. Let's see.
doing official
But
government
by the
business.
way, well, I don't know what to tell you. I made a mistake in retrospect as it related to.
Who says this? Everybody's saying
and,
it.
perception
Everybody.
that was wrong, and so therefore
You said it. You said it looks bad. You yourself said it looked bad. It could look bad.
I'm taking it off the table, Amy. I'm making that commitment. Let's see if
Okay.
anybody else makes that commitment, but that's the commitment that I'm making.
Oh, we'll see. Oh, interesting. We'll see if anybody else makes that commitment. Well, you know what? The people that you probably implying might take it off the table were already in business, right? Now, because a lot of people are trying to compare this to, like, for example, some people brought up Ivanka Trump, and she was getting some patents in China. And over some process, they finally got approved right after Trump became president, which I question that too. But at least in her case, she was already in that business before. She was already she'd been working on the patent applications for years, and sometimes it takes years to get patents done in China because of their bureaucratic nightmare. And so it's not like her lawyers weren't working on it long before Trump decided to become president or decided to run for president. You don't decide to become president, but you work your butt off and end up being there if you, I don't know, however that works. But that's what he's implying. Oh, well, now let's see what the Trump kids are doing. At least they were already in that business. Ukrainian natural gas? Come on.
And Hunter Biden reiterated time and time again that he did not ever discuss in any detail whatsoever any of his business dealings in Ukraine and China with his father, period. That he wanted that to be crystal
Amazing.
clear.
He never discussed any of it. Ever, ever, ever. Didn't even mention he got the job. Joe Biden had to find out in the newspapers, the media, that his son got hired by the Ukrainian natural gas company to become part of the board of directors. $50,000 a month. I didn't call my dad. You know what? That's not a big deal. No big deal. I didn't even tell my wife. You know, she'll figure it out eventually. It'll end up in the papers, whatever. All right. So anyway, did they say anything else here? I just love it. And then she gives them the out. Well, he said that there was no. What did she say? Here, let's get back to her.
But that's the commitment that I'm making.
And Hunter Biden
And she makes sure to tell you what Hunter Biden said without any question whatsoever.
reiterated time and time again that he did not ever discuss.
Look how, and listen to her emphasize it. Like, want to make sure the audience knows that she's so earnest and reassuring. He assured us that he did not do this.
In any detail whatsoever, any of his business dealings in Ukraine and China with his father, period. That
Wait a minute. Look at Michael Strahan's face as she's saying this. Look at Michael Strahan. He's like, he got that bitch please look on his face. Oh.
In Ukraine and China with his father, period. That he wanted that to be crystal clear.
As you said, no questions were off the table, and you're going to have more of your conversation with him coming up.
That's right. We covered a lot of ground in that interview, including exactly how he feels about being that target of President Trump.
All right, so I'm not going to do the second interview just because of for time's sake, since we're well beyond time, and hopefully I won't get a content strike for this particular interview. Again, I should be well within fair use, but whatever. Hello, Duck Dog. How you doing? The bullshit is getting deep. You're damn right it is. All right, real quick. I didn't do my normal shield, but here it is. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you would be so kind as to down here share, like, all that stuff. And again, super chats you can do through the Streamlabs link down below until I get that magical 1,000 subscribers. But you know, it would be really helpful because somehow I'm down to $3.99, and I wanted to do a 400 subscriber special this Friday on Dog Park Friday, but hey, I might not be doing that so soon. So if you are here and you're not subscribed, please, right down there, hit that subscribe button and make sure you ring the bell. Click the bell when that little bell comes up so that you get notifications when the show comes on. All right, let's get into our... Oh, you know what? Before I do Twitter trends, just a couple things. I think it was in the second version of this where Joe Biden's on the campaign trail and he says nobody else in the media is talking about that. Well, at least he was implying that you'd only hear about this on Fox News, or you only heard about this on right-wing media. But remember, we read a whole article the other day, one from Politico, which was talking about this 2 years ago, saying that's a pretty shady deal that these guys are banking off Daddy Biden's name between him and his uncle. And then also there was a New Yorker cover story about this, so we might get into that tomorrow because I'm not ready to let go of this particular topic. All right, but real quick, let's get into this article, and this is just part of the thing here. Nolte says ABC fails to fact check Hunter Biden's claim that of not 1 cent from Chinese government deal. ABC News allowed Hunter Biden to get away with the claim that he did not make 1 cent from his company's mega deal with a Chinese bank that is a subsidiary of a Chinese government, when its own past reporting has said just the opposite. During his interview with Amy Robach, during the sit-down interview, Amy Robach set up the segment about Hunter's China deal with the background on President Trump's desire to look into Hunter's shady $1.5 billion, as I would say, and it says in the article, with a B, deal with the Chinese bank. Robach says also on Trump's list of accusations against Hunter Biden that Hunter flew on Air Force Two with his father during an official government trip to China in 2013, leveraging that connection for financial gain into an investment deal with Chinese businessman Jonathan Lee. What Robach's question omitted is that the deal was not just with an individual businessman, but with the Bank of China, which is a subsidiary of the Chinese government itself. She then asked Hunter directly, the president has repeatedly said you received $1.5 billion despite no experience and for no apparent reason. Obviously, fact checkers, right, have said that is not true. Hunter says, this literally has no basis in fact in any way. Robach, have you received any money from that business dealing? Hunter, no. Robach, at all? Hunter, not 1 cent. Robach, definitely not $1.5 billion. Hunter, it's crazy. They feel as though they have the license to go out and say whatever they want. Hunter is then allowed to trash Trump and his family as liars, while Robach, who has just lauded fact checkers, and they're fact checking. We know how the fact checkers work. Says nothing about the fact that, and this is important, according to her own network's reporting and Hunter's own attorney, Hunter has a 10% stake in BHR, the company that made that mammoth $1.5 billion Chinese deal. Yeah, he didn't do it for free. Just the $1.5 billion was invested with the company. That doesn't mean that's what he gets paid, but he did just 1 penny. I think it's making the same question that I think this article is making the same point that I was making. So just a few months ago, ABC aired an in-depth report on Hunter's shady business dealing that including this nugget. The video shows Chinese diplomats greeting Vice President Biden as he arrives in Beijing in December of 2013. Right by his side, his son Hunter. Less than 2 weeks later, Hunter's firm had new business, creating an investment fund in China involving the government-controlled Bank of China, with reports they hope to raise $1.5 billion. Hunter still plays a role in the fund. His lawyer says his stake is worth about $500,000. Huh. Not 1 penny, $500 million. Not 1 penny, $500 million. Not 1 penny, $500 million. This is ABC that reported this. Does Amy Robach even watch her own channel? Where was Robach's follow-up question? Where was her oh so vital fact-checking? Why did she let him get away with saying not 1 cent when her own network reported just a few months ago that he had equity in the firm that made a massive $1.5 billion deal? Are y'all familiar with the term commissions? So obviously Hunter's playing a semantic game. We discussed that, didn't we? We said the same thing with the not 1 cent comment. Hunter's attorney appears to do the same in a statement he released just 2 days ago on October 13th. So 2 days ago, his attorney releases this statement. Hunter neither played a role in the formation or the licensure of the company, nor owned any equity in it while his father was vice president. He served only as a member of his board of directors, which he joined based on his interest in seeking ways to bring Chinese capital to international markets. It was an unpaid position. Oh my God. They're saying he did it for the good of the people. Yes, we will do it for the good of the. We're gonna do it for the good of the people, and we're going to help the people be better. Now let's blow up this football field. To date, Hunter has not received any compensation for being on BHR's board of directors. He has not received any return on his investment. There have been no distributions to BHR shareholders since Hunter obtained his equity interest. So he's had equity interest in this since 2013 and hasn't made 1 dime? Wow. So Hunter hasn't received 1 cent because there has been no payout to investors. There was no direct commission for that deal, which dum-dums would obviously suspect like he's a bottom-run sales rep. But here's the rub. According to no less than factcheck.org, Hunter might not have been paid 1 cent, yet he still could be looking at an eventual payoff that hits the $20 million mark. Quote, Hunter's lawyer, George Mazires, or whatever, told the New York Times that while Hunter Biden now has a 10% stake in BHR, which he acquired through a company he created named whatever that word is, there's been no distributions to the shareholders since Hunter has been an equity owner. So he hasn't received that dime yet. That's what it is. I was wondering, again, it's semantics. But that doesn't mean Biden won't eventually make millions from the deal. Stephen Kaplan, who conducts research on issues in private equity, venture capital, entrepreneurial finance, corporate governance, and corporate finance at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, told us that a private equity fund with $2 billion under management will typically generate fees over its life of hundreds of millions of dollars. It is difficult to imagine, if not incomprehensible, that a 10% stake in those economics is worth only $420,000, Kaplan told us via email. The distinction they appear to be making is they capitalize the management company with $4.2 million, even if the fund manages billion. The value of that management company is likely far in excess of $4.2 million if they are managing $2 billion. Kaplan pointed to a large publicly traded private equity firms for reference, both of which have a market value of about 10% of the assets under their management. Using that as a rough guide, that would put the value of Hunter Biden's share closer to $20 million. So he was playing semantics. I don't even need to read the rest. Fuck that. And then also we have one last greatest hit. Hunter Biden, his one qualification for the Amtrak board was he takes trains. Hunter Biden, this is from, Hunter Biden's only qualification for obtaining a seat on the Amtrak board of directors in 2006 was that he often rode trains. I remember this. I laughed my ass off because they said something about him get on there, and then he said, oh yeah, well, he rides trains. That, according to his father, Joe Biden's Delaware colleague in the Senate, Tom Carper, who offered the sole nomination speech for the younger Biden when his name was presented in the Senate Commerce Committee. In his prepared remarks, Carper said Biden would be an excellent addition to the board, but was unable to list any reason beyond his frequent use of trains. More significantly, Hunter has spent a lot of time on Amtrak trains, Carper said, after listing the schools Biden attended. Like his father, Representative Mike Cancel, and myself, Hunter Biden has lived in Delaware while using Amtrak to commute to his job in Washington, D.C. You learn a lot about what works and what could work better at Amtrak by riding those trains, Carper said. Okay, enough. That's just hilarious. All right, we're out of time, so let's check out the old Twitter trends today. Again, you know the drill on me shilling. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I got a couple of notifications. Let me check these real quick. Thank you, Dar. Let's see. Thank you, Dar. G Prime, are you in the chat today? Are you here? I wonder, who's, I gotta figure out who, well, I follow you. Anyway, and G Prime, Maddie, Truck and Bear, and Tyler F for retweeting the show out this morning. I really appreciate you guys doing that. Every little bit helps. I need one more subscriber to hang on. Just subscribe and stay. And then I'll have my 400 and we'll do my 400 subscriber special. But there's one subscriber left. I don't know what happened. What did I do? Did I do something wrong? I don't know. Anyway, we get the train to Boston, come here to Portland. Fears back by Thompson's Point. Oh, are you in Maine? We got the train to Boston, come here to Portland. I'm actually going to be in. Will I be in Portland? Is that Wikipedia snippet? Portland, Maine. I'm going to be in Portland, Maine next summer. My wife and I are going to do a little East Coast tour. We're having a family reunion in upstate New York. So we thought, well, we'll fly to Boston, drive to Maine, go visit a friend there, drive up to New Hampshire and Vermont, drive through there, and we're going to take 2 weeks next summer. So anyway, I hear it's a really beautiful part of the country, and it's let's see, once I do that, I'll be down to 4 states I haven't been to. All right, let's find out what's trending on Twitter real quick, and then get the hell out of Dodge. Let me just do this real quick and put it on the screen. Twitter, dang, click. Me and Duck Dog are from Maine. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, very cool. I'm looking forward. Maybe you can give me some hints and things to do. We have a friend who lives on the Atlantic coast, and she has a house. One side of her house she sees the lake. The other side of her house she sees the ocean. So we're gonna be up there. We're gonna drive through Portland and like the coast going up to her house. I can't remember if it's. Is it Highway 99? I don't know what it is. The highway that drives along the coast, scenic coast route. Anyway, all right, let's get into Twitter trends. Number 1 today is Wednesday Wisdom, because we are all wise on Wednesday. This is a nice reminder. So the Persistence is the dude, Scott Pressler. He's the guy who's been organizing those cleanups in Baltimore and a couple other cities. So this is from Scott Pressler. There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. The party needs 218 seats for the majority. The Democrats currently hold 235 seats. Republicans only need to flip 18 seats to take a majority in 2020, and that's his Wednesday wisdom. So if you are a Republican and that's your goal to flip the House of Representatives, you got to flip 18 seats. We'll see how that goes, but that's wisdom for one side. I need some Wednesday wisdom for everybody. So here's one from someone named Saint Steph, and I don't even know why. Am I following this person? I'm not, but it popped up anyway. Saint Steph says, don't half-ass anything. Whatever you do, always use your full ass. Now that, I'm telling you, that is some straight up wisdom. That is full out, round and juicy wisdom right there. Always use your full ass. Hey, here's one from, if you're on the left side of the aisle, from Ted Lieu, everyone's favorite congressman from California. Today is Wednesday. That means Donald Trump is lying again. Republicans have lawyers. They get to ask questions, and they have full transparency during the depositions. Each side gets 1 hour, and then we alternate back and forth. So he's talking about Donald Trump's tweet, because everyone talks about Donald Trump's tweet, where he says, Republicans are totally deprived of their rights in this impeachment witch hunt. No lawyers, no questions, no transparency. The good news is the radical left Dems have no case. It is all based on their fraud and fabrication. So Ted Lieu's tripping back. Of course, everyone talks to the president. So I like the, oh, now it went away. I like the Wednesday wisdom that I have already done about use your whole ass. Don't half-ass anything. All right, that's enough for Wednesday wisdom. Number 2, Pronouns Day. Oh, I need to drink a coffee. I have to. Trending Pronouns Day. You know my theory on pronouns, if you haven't heard. Well, let's see. Halloween Weibo Jones says, you come out as a trans woman and all of a sudden you're a degenerate who belongs on a cross. Check out my latest and greatest this Pronouns Day. What? Oh, she did a video. She hasn't pronounced it. I'm going to check out her video. But apparently someone didn't like her video, and so they say she belongs on a cross. Here's the deal. Here's my personal idea about pronouns. And I put my pronouns are in my bio on Twitter. My pronouns are I, me, and my. Because really the only pronouns that I own that I can require someone to use are the ones that I use for myself. So, and even if I say these are my pronouns to someone else, first of all, my pronouns, you don't own your pronouns. Pronouns are used so that you can simplify your language when talking to someone here about someone over there. So when someone uses the other pronouns that people like to put in their bios, for me, they're not talking to me. They're talking to someone else. The purpose of pronouns is to create understanding between two people having a conversation. So they're not there to validate anybody. And so I understand that people want to use that as some sort of validation for themselves, and especially in the trans community. And for the most part, people are polite and will try to accommodate them. Now, I'm not a fan of the they, them. People say, well, I'm non-binary, so you say they, them. No, because I know who I'm talking about. They say, well, the singular they, them has been used in the English language forever. So they'll give an example. If it's you're in a baby class, and they'll say, well, when you are changing the diaper on your baby, make sure you use the proper amount of baby lotion and baby powder for them. Well, that's not using that's not a singular them. Okay. When they use the term them, in a class like that, or when they're talking about someone it's unknown, the reason they use them is because there's more than one possibility. Doesn't mean that there's two people. It just means there's more than one possibility. So you can use they, not in a singular, but to denote that there is more than one possibility. When I am talking about a specific person, I know who I'm talking about. And generally, I'm talking about that specific person to someone over here. So if I'm seeing someone getting ready to step out in the street in front of a bus and they look like a woman, and I see someone near them that I'm going to say, hey, save her, that promotes the understanding that her is the person who's about to step in front of the bus who looks like a woman. Okay? Now, it may turn out to be a man, but it doesn't matter because I'm not trying to validate that person's internal struggle with what their gender is. I'm trying to make sure that person doesn't step in front of a bus, and the person who's there, who that I'm talking to, needs to understand who I'm talking about. Okay? So that's my personal take on pronouns. Thank you. Good night. The West has been lost for quite some time now. The LBGT Foundation, which I've never heard of, that's a new one. Let's see. The LGBT Foundation is a charity delivering community health and well-being services to lesbian, gay, bi, and trans people in the UK. Okay. Today is a chance to make respecting, sharing, and educating about personal pronouns more commonplace. Referring to people by the pronouns they determine for themselves is basic to human dignity. No, it's not. Pronouns are used for understanding, and it has nothing to do about validating somebody else. It is to communicate to a third party about another third party. Or to communicate. Now I should rephrase that. You communicating to the person you're talking to about a third party. It's not there to validate. Now, generally, you want to be a polite person, okay? So if both parties involved in the conversation know that the third party is transgender or whatever, then yes, be polite and make sure that that understanding is communicated between you and them. Period. It's not a validation. It's not a validation. And by the way, also, I speak the English language. And yes, there are new words all the time, but some of the made up new ones that people come up with, that's not how I communicate. Okay. I'm not being rude. I'm not trying to unvalidate you. I'm just not talking to you. I'm talking to the person I'm talking to about you. And so I'm going to use a common language that we understand. If I'm talking to my mother and I'm talking about you and you have a Z and Zer, but you look like he, I'm going to say to my mom, yeah, him, that guy over there, that person over there. Because that's the language me and my mother understand. And that's how we use language. I'm not going to go to, it's like, kind of like that Latinx thing. The people put the X behind Latino and Latina. Well, guess what? People who speak Spanish don't do that. Sorry. That's their language, and they're going to speak in the language they want to, and that's how their language works. So I can't go demand just because I'm in the same room that, they say something Latino, and I say, no, I'm sorry, that should be Latinx, because that's the way, and that's the gender neutral way to say it. No, they're not gender neutral languages. The Romantic languages are gendered languages. That's just the way they are. Now, if you want to go and whoever writes the book for how people should speak Spanish or French or Portuguese or whatever, all the gendered languages, the Romantic languages that are all gendered languages, by all means, go find the language police. Anyway, but it is gender pronoun day. Respecting people's pronouns costs you nothing. Pronoun day. Respecting how I use language also doesn't cost you anything. I will do my best to be polite and have a compromise, whatever. I'm not, whatever. All right. Shahrazad, some Pokemon thing is trending number 3. Okay. Don't care. Game Freak 30. What is Game Freak 30 is trending number 4. Still talking about something with Pokemon. I'm going to keep going because I'm Gen 1. Is that also something having to do with Pokemon? Yeah, Game Freak. Okay, so all the Game Freak Pokemon things are trending 2, 3, and 4. Hey, it's National Boss Day. National Boss Day. If you have a boss, the boss needs you, you don't need him. To all the workers who are on strike today or preparing to strike this National Boss Day, we salute you. Haymarket Books. What? You know, I'm pretty sure that there are people out there who work in jobs that have a great boss, you know, and probably they like their boss treats them right. And you know what? This is just, I guess this is going to be a day to be shitty to people. So that's the one here. That's theirs. Labor is entitled to all it creates. Really? Did labor, what was labor's investment? You know, sure, but whatever. The boss needs you. You don't need him. Okay, well, yeah, you can always go get another job if you don't like your job. I get it. That's one of those ones that give me a headache because I know every answer I'm going to get for it. LinkedIn has one, though. Great bosses are equal parts leader and mentor. To kick off National Boss Day, tell us about a boss who impacted your job and career and tag them. I've had some good bosses. I'm for the most part my own boss now. Well, I'm not at UPS, obviously, but whatever. Anyway, the hell? I'm not bossy. I'm the boss. My favorite position, CEO, obviously. Okay. Eve Irving. I better not click any more of Eve Irving because, World Food Day. Oh, World Food Day. Oh, remember the other day when I was complaining they make up days for everything? It's World Food Day. Make sure you celebrate with some food today. That's I laugh at that because there are people without food. So I always think it's important that you think about others when they come up. But what is this? Oh, I see. World Food Day. Here it is. World Food Day 2019. Focus more on nutritional quality, less on high-yielding staple crops, says Tamiri Sachiri. We currently rely on only 3 crops: wheat, maize, and rice to provide nearly 50% of the global dietary energy supply. This needs to change, said FAO country director in India, Tomio Shishiri. There's an urgent need to make healthy and sustainable diets affordable and accessible to everyone, said the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in a booklet released on the occasion of World Food Day. Okay, so I get what this World Food Day is about. It's more about figuring out how to make sure that we're feeding the world. Now, what's amazing is that we are able to feed the world. You know how I like to talk about all the crises that were supposed to cause the world to end. And one of them was the population bomb, the book that was written in 1969 or 1968, one of the late 60s. And all through the 70s and 80s, people were talking about this population bomb that, the planet was we're going to have mass starvation and just chaos because too many people in the world. And we weren't going to be able to feed them all. And somehow, even with almost double the number of people in the world, somewhere near 7 billion, hunger has shrunk. It has gotten less and less, even though there are definitely places in the world where there's problems with hunger and feeding people. We still have been able to sustain that. Now, granted, we may not be able to do that further, but that's because of innovations in food production. And being able to do more without using a lot more land. Although there are issues like burn clearing some of the rainforest to put more beef production. We got to worry about those things. But it's amazing that technology has allowed us to surpass the doomsday, right? The doomsday of world population growth not being sustainable. Now, I have that same theory with climate change. We will advance technologies and again, the hair on fire panic that people are having is annoying to me because I've been through 5 different panics in my lifetime. Okay. And this particular panic itself has passed several deadlines and several predictions that never came true. But you know what I'm saying? This World Food Day, I focus on being able to feed people more nutritiously is a great thing. So now I understand World Food Day. Moving on. Kanto has to be something to do with Pokemon, I'm going to guess. Oh, no. Something... I don't know what Kanto is, and it keeps popping up here. What is... If anyone knows what Kanto is, put it in the chat. I don't really care. It doesn't... Oh, it has something to do with Pokemon. Okay. Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn. He's a football player, right? Oh, yeah. Former Buck... Warwick Dunn is a former running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Warwick Dunn built a home with Habitat for Humanity in my hometown of Gainesville, Georgia, for a mom and kids. One young son was Deshaun Watson, who now gives back to his community. Deshaun Watson is also a football player. Warwick Dunn is just prolific in Habitat for Humanity. So 173 homes later, he's helped 173 families get into 173 homes. Don't think there's a Hall of Fame for this, but he's above that if there is one. 173rd. Okay, 173rd. That's amazing. So here it is in the Tampa Bay Times. Former Buck Warwick Dunn surprises St. Pete single mother with a new home. He is just the most awesome human being on the planet. That's fantastic. All right, moving on. Ave, is that something Pokemon-ish? Yep. Bill O'Reilly's trending, expresses doubt over Beto O'Rourke's account of working woman for jobs. Okay. Warren wants universal child care for every baby. Nice. People, okay. He said something negative about a Democrat, so he's trending negatively, clearly on whatever this is. Bill O'Reilly is stunned that liberal candidates believe liberal things. Guess who was watching the 4th Democratic presidential debate on Tuesday night? Former Fox News personality Bill O'Reilly. And he was shocked by what he saw. In a series of tweets, O'Reilly expressed amazement with traditional liberal politicians expressing traditional liberal policy prescriptions. Well, the fact that some of them still believe in them are amazing. Here's just a few of word of O'Reilly's wonderment tweets. Bernie wants to be clear. Taxes will go up for everyone, but free health care offsets that. Ha! That's freaking hilarious. It won't happen. Yes, everything free is going to make everybody, the free care you get offset that. No, it won't. It will not. Anyway, Bernie says he promises every American will have a job. No, they won't, because not everyone wants to work. The Green New Deal will create 20 million new jobs. Yeah, maybe not. Warren wants universal child care for every baby. Nice. Okay, again, am I responsible for you having children? That's a question. Is that a societal thing? All this stuff they want to do for free. What if I don't want to participate in that? Anyway, Bernie wants a political revolution because capitalism is destroying the world. Capitalism is saving the world, actually. Do you know, if you only knew how, people forget how the Soviet Union worked. I'm just pretty sure that really the societies that seem to have worked the longest seem to be the ones who are, never mind. I'm not even going to this. So anyway, so O'Rourke responded this way to Twitter. This is her. Her name is Gina. Her daughter's name is Summer. The problem with our economy is she has to live in her car while a disgraced TV host like you makes millions. Okay, so he said he questioned someone working 4 jobs and raising special needs child. I don't believe him. Sorry. And so she pulls out this person who works 4 jobs. Beto says he went, okay, so side note, O'Reilly was fired from, okay, great. So O'Reilly's going to be trending because of that. And you know what? If he said something dumbass and say, Bernie, what's his name? Beto did meet someone working 4 jobs. Okay. But some of the things, so they're chirping on him because he said stuff about the Democratic primary. Some of the stuff they say has interesting possibilities, and some of it they say are pipe dreams that are just completely stupid and won't work. So not everyone agrees with Democrats. Bill O'Reilly's getting dragged for not agreeing with Democrats. Pence and Pompeo are trending. All Too Well is trending. Ask Wale. We're not going to ask Wale. Pence and Pompeo. Erdogan. When Trump comes here, I will talk to him, Turkey's president says, while snubbing Pence and Pompeo. Okay, so apparently they tried to go to Turkey, and Erdogan told Sky News he won't meet with Mike Pence and Mike Pompeo during their trip to attempt to negotiate a ceasefire in northern Syria. Interesting. Said he and Vice President meet. Now, they say that they're still going to meet with Turkish leader, someone else, Erdogan, and that's the other one. Early reports suggest Erdogan would not meet with them. So there's a question whether or not Erdogan's going to meet with these guys. I would bet that he's going to meet with them. Anyway, All Too Well. Last one that I'm going to do. Taylor introducing All Too Well at her Tiny Desk concert. Okay, so have you ever heard of Tiny Desk concerts on NPR? It's pretty cool because they have musicians go in this little library looking place, and they all play their music on there. It's a really good show. Go on YouTube and go put in the search Tiny Desk concerts. Now, I don't give a crap about Taylor Swift, although she's a talented girl. I'm not a big fan, even though she is talented. But the Tiny Desk concerts are pretty cool, and you will find some genre that you will find interesting on there. So, all right, that's it. Hey, Johnny Hellcat, I see you there. Good morning, sir. And I'm not sure who else popped in, but everyone is here today. I am very happy that you came by. I got to call this a day, though. I'm way behind schedule. The Morning Night Live here, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. All the time we're here. And also, just before you go, if you haven't done so, because I see 22 earlier right now, people come in and out. I think I average about 30 to 35 people coming in and out every day, but there's only 15 likes. Hit the like button before you go. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Tomorrow is FTG Thursday. If you don't know what that is, someone in the chat will inform you in the next 30 seconds. Also, Friday, we will do the 400 subscriber special and Dog Park Friday. The format's going to look a little different because I'm not going to use Streamlabs as my whatever, the way I stream through YouTube. I'm going to actually use StreamYard so that I can have some guests on the show. I will have guests on Friday. And that's about it. So y'all, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks to you, C. Thomas, again for the super chats, and everyone else who does that on occasion, or something you just do donations when I'm not on the air. And that really makes a huge difference for some of the expenses that I do have for the show. Not that much, but anyway. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. My name is P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the P-Dog Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.